Hello, everybody, and welcome to another very exciting episode of VFX and Chill. I am Hashi, and over here I have Seth Worley, talented After Effects artist and hairstylist. Welcome, Seth. How are you doing?
Yes, of many. How's it going,
It's
bud?
going very well. Today, as you may have seen from the thumbnail, we are going to try to recreate some of the effects inspired by the Matrix trailer that dropped this week. We saw the teaser earlier in the week, like many of you, and then later on we ended up seeing the full trailer. Just when did it come out? Was it yesterday? Goodness gracious!
Yesterday, man, it rules. It is awesome. I wasn't even particularly excited about this movie, but that was a fantastic trailer.
I felt the same way. I think I got more and more lukewarm about the Matrix through 2 and 3, because how do you compete with such a mind-bending original film? But I mean, they're all stunning accomplishments of visual effects and trying to push boundaries.
The second one, especially. The second one has the whole motorcycle chase with the that I remember just I want to go revisit that. I know the movie's not going to be not that it has anything to hold up, but that chase I remember being spectacular. But no, I agree. The first one, it's hard to beat.
Absolutely. So today, I think that we have a variety of things that we're going to cover. I'm not positive because I'm excited to get suggestions from the audience or things that they liked from the trailer. We will only be spoilery from content from the trailer, I believe, because that's all that anyone has. So I believe that we are going to look at the Matrix code rain kind of things and the way that you can recreate that on your own, and potentially how you can turn a space that you're in into a Matrix rain kind of environment. That's, I think, Seth, I think that's what you're going to play around with today?
I guess. I mean,
I'm just assigning this to you right now.
Very little.
Perfect.
I think what's interesting about this digital rain stuff is this feels like what year is it, Hashi? This is one of the first times I felt like
it's the year 2021.
Okay, see, the Matrix, especially the digital rain part of it, it feels like the kind of thing that there were still new tutorials being made for this effect when I first started getting into After Effects. So this, for me, might be one of the first times I have actually started attempting or going to teach something, and oh no, Hashi's gone. But the first time, oh good, my strong suit. This is the first time that I've ever been hey, let's learn how to do this effect, and it's something that it's okay. It's the first time that I'm having this tutorial cycle full loop. You've had that thing where we've been going through this whole thing where oh my god, there's a new movie based on an 80s property that I saw when I was a child, and now there's a new iteration of it in TV form or in feature film form, and that cycle happens. That's just a natural thing we've experienced. But I've never experienced this thing where it's oh, I'm now about to make a new tutorial for something I'm about to make a new tutorial for something that I definitely saw new tutorials for 10 years ago, and that's unsettling to me.
Yeah, so I'm playing the trailer loosely in the background. There are so many different crazy effects in this. We've got some classics like the mouth disappearing kind of thing. I think the one of the new effects that I was really jazzed about that they do is this. Let's see, what am I looking at? I'm pulling up the. Let's see. I liked this kind of effect. I thought that was kind of cool, and it's not a brand new effect for the world of effects, but it seems to be a new thing that they're playing with in the Matrix, which has always played off the through the looking glass, mythology, as it were. So it's nice that they're just really being just have them walk through mirrors. It'll be cool. I can't remember.
Well, and I love that we're I love that we're doing mirrors again.
Mirrors.
There's always something connecting each of our episodes, whether it's Loki again or some effect. And last week we did the mirror shot from Contact. This week we're taking it one step further, as if little Jenna Malone was able to walk straight into the mirror, and we took it further than Zemeckis was willing to.
Oh, so fun. So with that in mind, should we get started, Seth? Should we jump into trying out things and seeing what works and doesn't?
Why don't
Excellent.
we? That's a great idea.
That sounds wonderful. All right. So if we've set up everything properly, Seth and I take turns, and I'm saying that loosely because I haven't actually hosted the show for months. But so bear with the exciting technical glitches where Seth or I disappear throughout. I'm pretty sure that's going to be very exciting. So.
And if Hashi stops talking at any point, we all need to pay attention to that because he has several keyboard shortcuts. Somehow
I can't. If I try to pre-render something with Control M on my side, Skype overrules me and mutes stuff, even if I'm in another window. So work that out for me, Skype. So I'm going to, you know what, I forgot something that I thought could also be very silly and fun to play with. Now, in the trailer, I noticed that there were a lot of reactions to Keanu Reeves' appearance in this. And, I mean, I think it's cool that they embrace that it is later in the timeline, time has passed, and all of that good stuff. And so we are getting the same joke of John Wick ending up in the Matrix universe was made lots online. And so I think a lot of that had to do with this. I think this is the only image that you saw of him in the teaser that came out.
Yeah, the teaser site.
Hide this.
Which that site was cool, man. That site, like, it called out what time it was each time. I don't know how it was procedurally generating this, or some poor bastard had to just make 50, not 50, good lord, had to just make one for every second of every day, or every minute of every day.
I do kind of believe that was the way that it worked. I don't think that it was procedurally generated in the moment. I think that it was... yeah.
God, I hope, man.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
The chat is saying. Oh, hey.
Hi, can we introduce Lily? Welcome to our show, Lily Bab.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Lily's standing in for Michael, who is out motion camping.
Yes.
At the moment. So, sorry, go ahead.
No worries. Seth, there is a bit of an echo, the chat says.
All right, let me.
They're still. I put my AirPods in to try and keep the echo from happening. So keep an ear out and let me know if it's still there.
Oh, and apparently I have double audio too. So you get double the fun.
Let's see. So.
Oh, you know. Hey, Hash, I think I know what to do. Mute Lily.
Mm-hmm.
So like go in and her master main scene and just turn her volume all the way down because I think it's doubling up. From having multiple sources, and maybe After Effects as well. Just have one singular audio source.
So fun, everybody. All right. Yeah, I'm not positive what's going on there because my.
Are you piping in your system audio into the?
No, I'm not. So that's what I assumed it was. I can switch you over to system audio. Can you talk, Seth? And see if we can hear people?
Hey, it's me. Say it's me.
What's up? I'm gonna try that. And we'll just go for a second, and we'll see if you are echoing as much. I'm truly not sure what could be feeding into it. I'm muting everything else in the realm now. So
it looks like Seth may be glitching in the Matrix.
Glitching? Let's try this. Tag team back again. I'm talking and let's begin and blah 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 blah. I don't know the words. I just remember the sound of the song from the Mighty Ducks soundtrack back when I was a kid. Here's more. Okay, I'll stop rapping.
Okay, it is fine now. Hey,
we're good.
Yay!
So I shouldn't keep rapping tag team, horribly paraphrased from my very loose memory. Okay.
We're so good. Oh yeah, it was your After Effects screen is doubling your mic. That's what it was.
After Effects. I told
After Effects, it's not good for audio. We all know this, and I should have known that going in.
We all know this. By the way, I'm teaching a visual effects class right now this term, and not right this second, but this term, and I have to, every time I teach one of these classes, I have to learn things that I learned things that I should have known all along, like baseline things. And I had no idea that you could see waveforms like you could just literally, there's a tab to visualize the waveforms in this timeline down here.
Yeah.
Why did no one teach me this?
So you're referring to in a timeline, for example, if you go down to the audio and then expand its waveform, you can see the waveform?
Yeah, look. You know how to do this. I don't. What the heck? That was always there?
It was always there. It's how you did editing. It's also how you turn your audio levels to, you can keyframe them to like negative 4 billion.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, the minus limit on the decibel for the volume is minus 192, which means that you can, as you watch this, as I turn up the volume, the actual point at which it becomes inaudible is once you've turned it down past, there's no way that the decibels for the thing are going to be much more than 60 if it's a regular source anyway, but you can extra mute things, which is really cool. So, lovely, lovely fun. Wait, you can press L twice too? Wait, what is that? What? Oh, Joel with the tip that you can just double tap L like that. Look at that. And it's so clean, it doesn't even have all the... That's lovely. I like shortcuts. They're delightful.
Hashi mutes himself right there.
I know. All right. So last week I was playing around with Snapchat lenses because they're very silly. They're very lightweight, and I can. Let's see. Oh, why did you get so small again, Seth?
Oh no, I got huge again.
You are huge again. Let's see.
We're only seeing half the face.
That's the best half.
Ooh, Oh, I'm just gonna shuffle around for a second. Weird.
Do, 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 do.
All right, I'm gonna see what happened to Seth here. Fit to screen.
Welcome back to OBS and Chill, where we watch Seth and Hashi figure out how to use OBS live.
Man, it is ridiculous. I don't quite understand it. Oh well.
He looks much better.
There you go. Hey, you fit on screen now, Seth.
Thanks, Lily.
Thank you. So
And Hashi for fixing me.
Yes. So we've been playing with. I think last week I was showing off some Ted Lasso VFX, which we used some interesting snap camera based things. Oh, you disappeared again, Seth.
Oh, weird. Okay, go back to the grid view in Skype.
And now are you smaller?
Am I back? I don't know.
Let's see.
So weird.
Transform, fit to screen. You love this, all of you in the chat.
All of you are loving this.
Thank you. This is so fun. All right, there we go. Okay.
Oh,
So,
I also just realized something. I'm so sorry, but people can't. Well, that's fine. You don't need to see me. My particular designer window doesn't come up this way, so if you wanted to, no, let's just keep going. I'll just tell you what I did. You don't have to see it.
no, all good. Yeah. So I'm pulling us up full screen for a second because I'm showing off that that I'm really loving the idea of the way Snapchat filters can be so interactive and bizarrely fast, especially with all this facial stuff. It's crazy. So I figured that using what I'm doing right now to me, which is removing my beard, with a.
Oh, we can still see our After Effects screens, by the way.
We can really. I
mode.
haven't switched. Yeah, I'm in studio mode. There we are. My beard is gone. I shaved in the interim. So very lovely. Wow, this is going so well. How are we doing, everybody? Yes, thank you, Lily. Yes. So, we expected to see Keanu looking like his character Neo, who is, clean shaven with the simple haircut and all of that stuff. But are you muted now, Seth? You're muted now.
No, I'm just not talking.
No, I muted you.
You didn't even have to tell me. I don't think anyone would have noticed.
So, amazing. All right, so I'll put the beard back. Let's see where. Hey, so there we go. Let's jump back to here, and let's see if we can set.
Wait, hold on. Don't switch over yet. Don't switch over yet. I have to do something. I had to reshare a different window.
I see.
Oh, God.
Hey.
Sorry. So if you could crop to just half my screen and put that up, just because I'm doing a lot in the design, in the particular window, and I really think if it's not there, no one... all the value that's being provided to the show so far isn't going to be provided, isn't going to be there.
What? Impossible. Okay.
I hope someone's tuning in right now. This is how you make Seth. That's how you cut a man in half and float him above a city.
You see, the fun thing is we do have a technical difficulties screen, but it's...
And we never use it. And it's really good.
It's fun. Yeah, like here's a preview of it. All right. Well, we're back to here, and so you've shared your screen, and I think that I can put you back to normal, Seth. Guys, I wasn't ready. I thought I was ready. I thought I was ready, but I wasn't. And that's on me. All right. Can you hear Seth, and can you hear me?
Hey, it's me. Do. Now we'll just wait for the 10-second delay or whatever lag it is.
Perfect. All right. Well, Seth, it looks like we can actually see your designer window, which is really lovely because that is where a lot of the magic in Trapcode particular happens.
Yes.
Oh. The chat is saying the audio is good. You guys
audio
are good
is good.
to go.
And
thank God.
Seth, you occasionally get big-headed, and I'm not.
Listen, I don't think that any of us are not used to that by now. I think that we're accustomed to that cycle and that pattern, and it's just something we all live with.
And also your video was glitching a bit for a second. I'm just driving home the joke there. All right. So using those Snapchatty filters, I grabbed Keanu and I made a completely bald version of him.
Because that's what people want.
And I also made a shaved beard version of him. There were a couple filters that had that honestly did a bit of both, but I felt like his expression was actually really well preserved with this particular beardless filter. So let me go ahead and save my project. That's a pro tip right there, to save your project when you begin something, as opposed to when you crash it. Let's call this Keanu. It's Keanu, right? Keanu.
Keanu.
Keanu. Amazing. Great fun actor, and also a fun Key and Peele movie. All right, so what I was thinking we could do is to take that original clip from the trailer, which is let's see, where's the original Neo? Yeah, this one. So everyone saw this, and it looks like a scene from John Wick. We're so used to...
Not a bad thing.
True. I mean, I don't. There's not a complaint from me that those universes could coexist. So I'm going to try to preserve parts of this like this face here and paste it and somehow combine these two elements together to try to get a Neo look, which hopefully should be straightforward. So I'm going to first start with a, let's go ahead and add a null, because I want to be able to track my masks in here. I could use the face tracker, but I think that I won't be able to output a nice null like if I just did this. So let's just do the straightforward point tracker on Keanu's eye right here. Why not? Look at that. Okay, let's run this. What have you got going on over there, Seth?
So I have a particle system that is raining down, and I have a secondary particle system that is emitting from that parent system, and I'm just trying to get the overall like life of these particles looking good, and probably some opacity over life size before I bring in the sprites that I made.
Wonderful. I think that's a good tip for Trapcode in general. Anytime I'm working with a particle system, it's really great to get the motion working first, just with the stand-in circle particles, because a lot of the value of a particle system comes from its motion. But a lot of the heavy lifting it has to do is once you start porting in sprites, and it's trying to read and multiply them a million times. Though I do love that for the last several years we've had GPU acceleration on these particles, because that's just a tremendously wonderful thing to have for any plugin.
Well, here's a fun fact. Actually, no, I have yet my computer. I don't know how to use GPU acceleration properly. My computer's never. I don't think my computer's ever worked functionally with it. I'm selling Trapcode in particular so well. I guess what I'm getting at is, Hashi, at some point in the show, you should teach me live how to benefit myself with the GPU acceleration, because I don't think I'm using it right.
Well, both the Red Giant plugins and After Effects have been moving toward trying to rewrite whatever their code is to work in a GPU environment. One of the things that is important to do is, if you're just working, you should go to your, I think it's under File Project Settings. Let me see if that's what it is. Right there, Project Settings. And right under this first tab will be the video and rendering effects, and you can tell it to use the Mercury, like in my case it's Mercury software only, or basically the CPU only, or you should be able to point it toward a GPU acceleration per project. So by default, my the project, my template that loads in here has that enabled, and so once I do that, then I like enabling the GPU effects, which are usually at the bottom of any Red Giant or Trapcode plugin, to say use the GPU or use the CPU in various ways. And depending on your system, obviously, you'll get different types of performance. In some cases, GPU has an amazing advantage, and in some cases, it's better to go with the CPU, whichever one I didn't just say. So back here, I'm going to create a couple of little masks here. I'm just going to, I always like to create solids and then attach them to a null that has motion. That way I can draw a mask on them and then just let the mask, stay parented to that null without having to adjust the mask every frame. So let me try to draw a little mask shape here on this this here green solid. I'm going to kind of grab the top of his head here, and then maybe, I don't know, something like this. A little bit of a sideburn. All right, so that's the top of his head. Oh, actually, maybe I should, I'll grab his chin later. All right, so we got that, we got that, we got that. And now I've got this green solid here. I like this. There we go. It's like a cool, kerchief.
I'm convinced that like every time I do like a camera track on like an elaborate camera move, and then I place a bunch of solids on the surfaces, I almost always think like it's the coolest looking. Like it looks cooler than my final VFX shot is going to look, because it's like this really cool like 60s multicolored thing. Like it looks awesome. I really
love that effect. It's fun. I was just doing a bunch of rotomats on another thing for YouTube, and it looks so much better like that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this green shape that I just drew. It's kind of weird, but I'm going to use it as the alpha matte for the... hey, look at that. So we've given him a haircut a bit. So...
Look at that.
So you can see what it's doing is it is just showing my layer that has... just revealing his original hair, but only within this... Whoops! Oh my goodness. Within this mask. And in theory, since I am parented to this null, if I were to kind of play through, it'll kind of stay with him, you know? So there, it's a start. At this point, I would start to add some custom feather points to this. And this is the thing, Seth, that I didn't know about After Effects until probably last year. And I don't know how I missed it, but it's right up here, the mask feather tool. I didn't know about this. I don't know how I didn't know about this, but it's right there next to the pen tool. And what you do is you go and you can draw points on your mask, and I'm clicking and holding down, and then as you expand, it controls the amount of feather. So like, look, I can have his hair grow out like that. But not only that, I want the background up here to sort of feather out nicely so you can't tell any color difference that came out of the Instagram filter thing, Snapchat, whatever, I'm sorry. But on his forehead, I don't want it to feather all the way down through here. I just want to add a point right here. Look at this. High feather up here, low feather there. And then you could add like another point right here and just shrink it up so the side of him is a little bit like that. And then I could add another point right here. And now I have a wide feather here, just a teeny feather here, and on the sides. And you can take and move these points around the mask and adjust where they are. And if you're ever doing something like a multi-cam, if you're doing a multiplicity effect, this is what it is tremendous for. Because half the time you want a clean line between your two people or whatever, and by default you feather it out, but you might think, well, it's really nice up here where there's this blank wall that I want feathered out like crazy, but down by the bookshelf where it's really detailed, that feather looks really ghosty and weird, so I want to be able to tailor that. So that is, if you learn nothing else today, remember that you can press LL to bring up
Seth
your
and
audio,
Hashi didn't know about this.
And
oh my gosh.
And you can bring up a mask feather tool. So audio in After Effects and mask feather controls. I should absolutely open a salon.
So thrilled and angry about this.
Let's see. There we go. So I'll feather that out a little bit. I don't know how much sideburn I should try to add into here.
Meanwhile, I'm done over here. I did my thing.
You did your thing. All right. So wait, there was probably a magic moment where you switched the sprites over there, Seth. Would you mind talking about
You're right.
that?
I should not deprive people of that. There's a couple magic moments.
The chat was wondering, how did you randomize the particle type?
Excellent question, and it's very, very simple answer. Well, first off, yes, the particle type, I went and it chose sprite, and you can decide on a sprite layer. Like you can set a layer in your composition, like a pre-comp that you've made. And you can also make your own sprites, export them as movies with alpha channels, whatever, or images, and then you can click this little button in the sprite in the designer window where with the sprite section of the designer, you can click this add new sprite button and import your own sprites into here, and then they're saved here forever, and you can pull them up in particular or form to use. Like I've shown this before, but here's a bunch of my dinosaurs and bunny rabbits from Dino Feast.
I love those. That's so great.
They're the first ones that pop up. It makes me so happy. I've got a palm tree. Then I've got some bananas. And then, in fact, I want to see some bananas, some matrix bananas.
Yes,
let's do that.
Please.
And let's set it to unmult. And don't colorize. Still coming in with no alpha channel for some reason. Not sure why that's happening, but anyway.
Is the mode? Let's see.
The mode wasn't anything at the time. I just switched it back.
Oh, you know what? The preview for it's possible that the designer window is ignoring the alpha.
Oh, okay.
Because it's, I think, running just GPU. Don't quote me on that.
Right.
But I think so.
Well, then why not?
Well,
okay. Well, then why
outside
didn't
of
I
here,
think of this?
it
I'm gonna
knows
go ahead and
it's
just do this.
here. The point of the designer window is to try to give you as quick a read of designing your particles
Approximation.
as what they will look like, and then as soon as you've clicked them back into here,
you're right.
your alphas will be preserved. It'll all be the quality that you need it to be.
My alphas are preserved. Here they are. Here's all my bananas falling. So, the question about the sprite. So, let me switch it back over. You can see what it looked like with the sprite as it's supposed to look. I'm going to choose the matrix glyphs that I made.
Lovely.
I'm going to set it to screen blend mode and colorize to 100%. And then for the color, I just used this color preset called Chemistry. And it worked just fine. Not just fine, but just great.
Look at that.
So, how did I randomize the sprites? Is an excellent question. And it's very simple. It's like shockingly, horrifically simple. Let me import the sprite and show you what's going on here. So these are my sprites.
I'm just mesmerized by what you're doing right now, Seth, so I'm falling silent to watching it. Excellent.
This is what they are. The sprite is just a cycling through of these random symbols. And when I do this, by doing this and having this be my sprite, I can then set it to sample this sprite by time sampling. So I can do, it's set to random loop, but I can also do a random still frame, and they'll all be a random symbol, and they'll stay, and they won't cycle through as they're coming down.
Yeah, and someone I think is asking, you could absolutely use a QuickTime file, an MOV, as your sprite, and if it has an alpha, you could sample random frames, all that stuff. Yeah, there you go. I was paying attention to the chat and not you, as you probably.
I exported it as a ProRes with an alpha channel, or rendered it as a ProRes with an alpha channel, and Particular is like, I love it. Give it to me. I'll keep it for you.
Perfect. All right. In the meantime, I'm going to try to erase more of the background. It's great because Snapchat did a version of content that we're filling in the background, but that collar is going wild, and so let me show you what the haircut by itself looks like. The haircut and beard trim. He's a little longer on the face these days, and that does reflect his age. But I think you can see that matrix-like Neo intensity kind of coming through.
It looks kind of like his hair is growing. Am I wrong? It looks like his hair, he's grunting at the time, so it looks like he's like
growing
willing
out
his hair to grow out. Yeah.
Which is in the Matrix, this is a thing you can do.
That's what he uses his power for, is to and just over and over. His enemies are just standing there watching him do this.
Suck his hair in and out of his head until they just feel so uncomfortable attacking him.
And it's like a 5-minute sequence of him just in and out.
I like that. All right, let's see if I'm just adding one keyframe here. It's funny because the feather keyframes are making some interesting shapes out of trying to preserve the amount of feather or not. Let's see. So maybe somewhere around here. So yeah, this isn't quite his haircut from the original, but it's in the ballpark. It's the best I can do by just revealing what was there from the original clip when he had all of his hair. Let's see, like that. So there's a. So I'm just trying to remove bits of this. So let's see if, you know what I could also do, which is a standard de-aging thing. Now that I have a null here, I'm going to add an adjustment layer, and I'll make sure it's up top, and then I'll add the Liquify effect. And then once I've done that, I'm going to, there's a distortion mesh thing right here. And luckily he's not spinning around or doing anything. But so in this case, I can expression link by alt-clicking on my distortion mesh and link it to the position of my little tracker null down here. So I'll do that by alt-clicking there, and then in the timeline I'll drag from here to the position of that. And right now it'll appear that nothing has happened, but what is happening is Liquify, you'll notice that its mesh center is now right aligned with his eye. So for example, if I decided to go ahead and, you know, bulge out this layer a little bit. Oh yeah. Okay. Then the Liquify center is going to try to stay there with his eye. So you can, to some degree, get a, you know, track liquefied expressions onto people this way. If you want to get into rotation and everything, you need to start doing some pre-comping and sampling, things like that. But here I don't need I don't want his eye like that. That's cruel, probably. So I do want to bring his hairline down further. That's a classic de-aging thing. Is if you want to age someone down, even with real makeup, you move their hairline down a little bit. So if you move, so watch the difference between, let's see, younger Keanu probably had his hairline down around here. I don't know if he really has this widow's peak thing. But yeah, somewhere in that realm. And so you want to go, if you're going to be tracking a Liquify mesh on top of someone, it's going to dance around just a little bit if it's a tracked point or something. So you want to go with not a lot of teeny specific things. You want to go with broad mesh reshaping. So like here, look at that. So the difference between, let me see if I could show them side by side. That would be, I feel like that would be beneficial. Or I can at least flip it on and off, whatever. So yeah, here's a hairline adjust. Look at that. Just using the bringing the pixels down like that. Maybe I did it. Maybe I brought it down too far. I don't know. He looks a little younger. Maybe the shape of my.
It's not the best haircut on him for some reason. It's looking a little
wonky.
A little Jim Carrey, Dumb and Dumber to me for some reason.
I think like in the original, he has more of a. He's got that like little curl, not curl, but you know, it's. Oh gosh, this looks so.
It's not the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible 1 haircut. Oh no, it's not because he does the greased back look at that one point. So yeah, you're right.
Let's see. This is closer. I feel like his part in the old days came more from over on the side, and now that he's John Wicked out, it isn't so much. So I don't know how much reshaping I can do just with this tracked Liquify here, because I'm going to start affecting the background and do one of those Photoshop fails where people have tried to forgotten that the Liquify would affect the background too. All right, man, this is interesting. I feel like I'm turning him into a.
Have you ever tried to do like Liquify, like parenting the Liquify central point to like someone's eyes to try to give them alien eyes? Hey, look, I'm huge again. Oh, you're fixing me. Or maybe it fixed itself. But It's always something I've wanted to try and never remembered whenever I sat down to do
Well,
something.
Seth, that's what I just did here. To some,
I've been listening and
to
paying
some degree.
attention. I'm so good. I'm such a good
So great.
co-host. I'm like, hey, have you ever tried to do the thing you just literally did before our very eyes?
So yeah, that's this. So what's fun is we can adjust his.
Oh, that is what you're doing. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. See, that's what I want him to. He does this too. So they're all just standing there watching him while he's growing hair, bringing it back, moving his hairline.
It's freaking them
grunting
out.
a lot.
All right. So anyway, I've gotten really in the weeds with this thing. So anyway, just to recap, what we're doing here is I am playing around with trying to convert Neo from his first appearance in the teaser earlier this week. He looked like this. And a lot of people said, well, that's John Wick, clearly. Like, that's Keanu as John Wick in the middle of the Matrix trailer. So I am trying to restore his look to the original Neo, but and having mixed success. It's definitely a more similar hairstyle, but I think that I'm not going to get into all the. My next steps would normally be trying to erase him entirely using content-aware fill, and then manually drawing in a new shoulder line behind him so it wouldn't be this flickery thing. And while that could be fun, I think that masking and tracking in a background would be a little bit useless. And also over on the other half of the screen here, we have Seth, who is recreating Matrix Rain using Trapcode Particular. And
I did it. So now I'm thinking about trying something else, something a little more ambitious that I haven't even tried.
I love that. I'm going to switch to something that I haven't tried yet either. But before we do, we can ask a few brief questions of our guest host this week. Hello, Keanu.
Hey, Mr. Reeves.
Hey, so the decision to stick with the John Wick hairstyle, is it simply that you've embraced that? Is it the fact that the movie takes place later and you've embraced it as a character choice within that universe? I don't know if you can hear me. I've probably not connected his audio. Sorry for the technical glitches today. They're plentiful. So yeah, I'm sorry.
He look good though.
We're boring him. All right. Let's try to jump back into After Effects.
We should have let him run over this.
I think that he'd probably be pretty decent at it. He would just talk to it very sweetly and convince it that, like, hey. So anyway, let's both try something new that we haven't tried before.
Something new that isn't going to work.
Yes. Well, I mean, we've just been nailing it with our knowledge of how everything works today. Why continue down that path when we could,
What was that?
We have a good question from the chat that said, is there anything you guys dislike about the new Matrix trailer in terms of special effects and CGI?
Nothing I dislike. I've seen some hate for that opening house at the beginning, but you know what? Are we the kind of show where we take?
Yeah.
Are we the kind of show where we rip into trailer VFX, which every VFX artist who's ever had to make effects like in time for a trailer deadline has just felt extreme amounts of self-loathing and sadness over? Like, I feel like I'm worried to perpetuate that. But
absolutely. And yeah, I think that we've covered it on the show before, but yes, what Seth is mentioning is very true. In the visual effects world, you try to push out these trailer shots as early as possible, and it's very difficult to try to get them into a trailer that premieres so much before the movie. And the VFX artists are under tremendous pressure, and whatever they get out there, the earliest is the first impression and the least amount of time they had to work on anything, which is kind of wild. So, hi to Darren in the chat.
Hi, Darren.
All right. So, Seth, you said you want to try out something that you haven't done before. What are you going to try?
So the Matrix, I'm going to try my terrible version of the Matrix wall stuff, where it's all up on the walls everywhere.
Matrix Vision TM.
Yeah, Matrix Vision TM. I'm gonna try it. So to prep for now, there's like the obvious, like there's the 2D ways we could go about doing this, but I felt like that'd be boring today. I'm gonna try the version that probably will not work. I'm just emptying my cache real quick.
Emptying cache.
I'm trying to empty in cache. I am, well, real quick. Just gonna. What am I doing?
What are we all doing?
Bud? I just.
So I'll describe a little bit what I'm doing over here, which is I want to try some of those Matrix mirror effects. So just before this, moments ago, I brought in I literally just brought in a mirror from. It's usually hung in the hallway right there, and then set it up next to my green screen, kind of like this. So yeah, so basically I have you need a lot of green screen real estate for this for this all. But I was able to film my hand trying to just approach a mirror and maybe like making contact with the reflection of my hand. And I chose this challenging angle because I wanted it to be clearly a real reflection and not a cheat of horizontally flipping this, because that would be easy. This will be more challenging and much more likely for a hilarious fail here. So yeah, there we go.
Oh my gosh, I'm really excited to see this.
I have no idea how this may or may not work, but I'm going to show you.
See, I thought about doing this. I thought you used a real mirror. I thought about having two cameras that are like doing the math where their angles and distance were correct to get that like zero center point, and then so I'd have a plate of the mirror side of things, and and do the reach in, because I would imagine that'd be what they did on the day, if they're smart. Because I know it's like with the Enterprise. When I directed a Star Trek commercial years ago, around the time of Star Trek Into Darkness, and so I was working with the same in-house VFX, Bad Robots in-house VFX team on that, and I learned all this great stuff about how they shot stuff on the bridge scenes in JJ's Trek movies. And I loved the fact that for the view screen, it was all green, obviously, but then they had a little camera out there, always rolling and shooting from the view screen's perspective, and so they got a reflection plate that they could use on the glass, which is super, super smart.
I mean, what was it? What was the product again? Anyway. What was it for?
Esurance.
Awesome. I was going to try to quickly pull it up because I remember it, but I couldn't remember who.
Oh yeah, Space Fender Bender is the name of it.
Space Fender Bender.
The piece.
Oh, lovely. Here we go. I have no idea what quality version I'm finding of it. Let me see.
Yeah, it starred Maya Erskine from Pen 15, who's hilarious. And a guy named Darren Rose who looks exactly like Jason Sudeikis.
I remembered this as Jason Sudeikis when I was just thinking of people you had worked with, and I was like, man, he got to work with Ted Lasso. It's so cool.
Don't let me correct you. And the guy playing the alien, I forget his name. He was a incredibly sweet guy. His audition was very funny to me because it was so natural and it wasn't like trying to be funny in any way. Like it didn't feel that way, at least. And then I found out that he had a small role in an episode of Parks and Rec, and I was like, okay, I'm casting him because he was a citizen of Pawnee. So that alien is a citizen of Pawnee.
Phenomenal. So, yeah, Seth is talking about a Star Trek commercial based on the idea that you have... Well,
when is he not talking? He's once again talking about his one Star Trek commercial he directed.
hey, that's one
7 years
more
ago.
Star Trek commercial than I have directed, so that's cool. And the point was that if you really wanted to, I could have a camera where this one was filming my hand like this, and you could also have an additional camera that was basically, if you decide where the mirror is, use that as a 90-degree point compared to your, like to a wall or whatever it is. Figure out where your camera is in relation to that, and then put a secondary camera that would film your arm from that same angle, but the same distance as if it were over here. And then if you flip the resulting image, you would get the opposite perspective. I may have said the math wrong there, but the idea is that a reflection, actually I could do this. Let me just duplicate this layer and flip this. So as I reached my hand this direction, Seth was mentioning that if you didn't have a real mirror set up, but you had two cameras, you could film yourself from two angles, and you'd have effectively a virtual reflection if you wanted just to comp them back together. So there's that.
There's that.
Let's see. So now let me try to find a clip that I would like to work with to do this effect. I'll do that. And Seth, what are you pulling up over there?
Meanwhile
in Sethland.
Meanwhile, so I'm gonna try. I want to try doing the whole thing where we put the the Matrix jazz, digital jazz, man, on the. Who said digital jazz? Somebody said that in a movie, and it had to have been Jeff Bridges.
That's amazing. I like it.
It probably was a Tron movie. He probably said digital jazz in a Tron movie. Anyway, the name of this episode is Digital Jazz. So I want to add digital jazz to the walls. I have... so this is a shot of my office. And I used Foundry's really cool... I used that really cool app. I don't know if I'm allowed to promote... Sure. I haven't run this by anybody. It's this app called CamTrackAR, and it's really cool. Like, I'm surprised you aren't using it regularly on your on the stuff you shoot with your kids, but it simultaneously shoots a shot from your phone and simultaneously tracks the AR data that it's getting
so cool.
While shooting. And so you can import the clip with the camera track data simultaneously into After Effects. And so I did that. And then I use my phone to do I use PolyCam, I believe is the name of the app, to do a LiDAR scan of my office. So I have a 3D scan of my office in here that I am currently, let me see if I put the textures back on that are supposed to be there. I think these are the right ones. We're gonna hope and pray.
Wow.
So here we are in my office.
It is crumply like that in real life.
Yes, it is this crumply. It's very low poly, my office is. But you know what?
Hey, you know what? Like, it's a lot of space. You can get
thing.
more space with a low poly count than,
Yes, you can. Now, my house is crumbling into the ground consistently. But, so I have this line. Well, let me actually undo that. I have this, I think, lined up fairly well with, so there's, let me turn this off screen blend mode. So there's the model, there's the shot.
That's pretty good.
So here's walking around. So I think it could stand for a day's worth of work of trying to align it perfectly, but it's pretty good. So I'm gonna
in the trailer they didn't even
rain.
fill out the whole screen with the real world in their Matrix rain scene.
True.
I jest. I'm sure it was a stylistic choice, but
well, I'm gonna make myself a texture of this digital rain jazz, and I'm gonna try and apply it to the materials in this 3D thing and comp it into the scene and see how it looks. It might look real bad.
Hey, that's why we're here, honestly.
That's why we're here, for the really bad
All right,
stuff.
so audience, I'm going to ask you a quick question. I have 2 clips that I think could work pretty well. One is I approach the mirror and I just go bloop and just like tap it like that. And in the trailer, they have something kind of similar. I should probably pull up the trailer so we can know what we're talking about. Wait, which one do I want? Which is the full trailer? I was nearly positive I grabbed it. Maybe I didn't grab the full trailer.
Well, they didn't release a teaser. They only released the teaser was on that website. What I thought.
So I think in one of these teaser trailers, we had seen a.
Oh yeah, that's the teaser.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Site.
So this.
Is he Morpheus now? I guess Morpheus is young.
We're all Morpheus a little bit.
I forget that actor's name. He's amazing. He's in Watchmen, I believe.
There we go. Okay. So they have a really cool close-up moment like this. And, this could be all CG for, I mean, is one thing that you always can consider in a shot like this. One of the things that's interesting about if you do want to do a move through the mirror thing is you have a moment where filming with practical breaks down because he's got, the reflection of his hand here, but if he needs to penetrate the surface at all, then you have basically an error because you can't push through real glass as far as I know. And so what I was thinking is that I was going to do a cheat, which is basically to, let me just go ahead and pry mat these out first. I'll just add this and I'll quickly auto-define the key. That'll probably be, let's see. It loves the light that I filmed this in. Paint in my, oh gosh, my skin tones look so bad in the original footage. I'm realizing this now. All right, good enough for a moment here. So, gosh, I've really got to rebalance my hand. I filmed this with basically daylight and a mix of my weird like studio LED kind of things. So getting a weird color result here. But what my hope was that if I had a realistic or technically actually real reflection of my hand over here, what I could do is this. I'll duplicate this layer, and one layer, I can rotate these better, would be the hand. One layer would be the reflection, and I think that I could fool people by scaling up the reflection and moving it closer in general to look like there is a moment where when my hand goes forward it's actually reaching through and into its own reflection. Does that make sense, everybody? So it's
no. I mean,
so
yes, it does.
I could, wherever I decide to move, whoops, I'm scaling it weird. This reflection, like if I move it all the way up to where the wrist is or something like that, and then were to mask this out, the illusion that I can create is that I'm pulling my hand out of a surface. Everyone see that? So that's what I want to use as the base for this effect I'm going to try. All right, so the next several steps will be very boring for a moment.
So have you actually tried this?
I have a vague theory that this will all work out. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I would like to. I didn't have just a mirror that didn't leave a nice big seam right here, which is going to mess with what I'm going to try to do here. So let me see if I should try to erase the seam, or if I should just make it so where my hand disappears is just slightly past the seam, and that's it. Yeah, I'm gonna... What do you think? Should I erase the scene? This line? How much time will
well,
let's see. You know what? Rotobrush 2 has been really kind.
I think you could do it. Yes. The second you said Rotobrush 2, I was like, yeah, you could do it.
We're going to quickly open this layer in Rotobrush 2, starting on my first frame here. I'm going to pull out my pen here. So pardon the noise as I adjust my mouse here. So best practices for Rotobrush, and I think I've said this before, is instead of trying to like scribble the whole shape on there, what you want to do is you want to create, not do that. You want to create these individual strokes that kind of represent the general shapes that you're trying to roto out. So I kind of did one stroke for each of the fingers there, and then I'll sort of do, I mean, you can see that I grabbed it, but I'm putting a little stroke across every general section of what I think will be the hand in the end. And then I'm just going to press play and see how well this goes. You can see there's going to be some green screen that spills in between there with a level of detail, but I'm going to primat that out anyway. So I'll have a combo of primat plus, really I'm just interested in right here, this one spot where it overlaps the mirror. Any extra spill is totally fine by me. So let's move forward. I'm going to Alt click away the other hand here for a moment.
Keanu, sir, are you bored? You look bored. Or you look like lightheaded. Do you need some water?
Okay, man? Are you hydrated? He's okay.
All right.
All right. He's fine.
He's fine.
He's fine.
Let's just let him be.
chilling.
Keanu.
We are the
He's
VFX.
chilling.
He is the chill.
He is the chill.
Yeah, he's at least as entertained as Ryan Connolly while we
So many times last week, we peeked behind the scenes. So many times last week, we were getting messages from Michael that was like, "Hey, remember you have a guest. Talk to him."
All right. Might as well.
Hey, remember you have a guest. Talk to him.
Yes,
Keanu, I really
really dig this joke. I think it's
Yes.
working real well, Keanu. Don't you?
The audience will never tire of our
They're talking to loops.
All right.
I'm just over here pre-rendering some digital rain. Don't mind
Nice.
me.
And I am just quickly trying to look at. I'm just looking at the overlap of this little window frame section right here. I just want that to be punched out when I'm working with a shot.
And Rotobrush is like, "Oh, okay. So you want more of it?
Nope, I want
none, less of it. What
none of
about
that.
this
Nope.
frame? Oh,
I do
but
want
on this
that.
frame, you want it back, right?
Ugh. Nope, none of that, and I don't know what I can tell you here. It's so close. Hands are just the most fun thing to roto out.
And from what I understand, you come from animation. Like hands are apparently artists have struggled with hands.
It's a lot.
As well, right?
You have a lot of joints in a really small area, and similar to the face, like we know what hands do and how they move in concert with each other. And if you're in charge of animating, 5 fingers with however many joints, I can't do math. There are so many things that could look off about them. So both from the drawing perspective, it's a lot of detail in a very compressed area. Which is why, you got to have characters with fins and stuff. Ah, the lovely silence of roto brushing.
I know, of work. I'm just Seth and Hashi working.
Amazing. Oh man, Rotobrush 2, I thought you were going to be faster than this. You know what? I'll bet if I'd started from the end frame, bizarrely, and moved forward, we would have actually done better than if I'd done it this way. Because right now, new info keeps on getting revealed in. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to freeze it right here. Whatever I get is what I get. As we say to our children all the time. All right. I deleted Mr. Freeze from the show because he was popping up too often. But, you know.
If that could be a thing.
That could be a thing. So, Seth, what is going on in the background with you?
I am looping this digital rain. And I think I've got it working nicely.
Nice.
Trim comp to work area.
And Julian, that is a good idea to run an extract to get rid of this. And I'm kind of disappointed I didn't think of it earlier.
Come on, Hash. So I'm gonna apply one of my favorite little expressions, the loop. I'm gonna apply loop out cycle to the time remap of this looped pre-jazz, and now it should ideally loop into oblivion. Let's see.
Ooh, delightful.
Yep. So that'll keep going.
Excellent. And I wasn't really paying attention, but did you create this loop by having a system that turns on and then off, and then basically grabbing?
There's actually a really good procedural way to loop particular that I have seen tutorials for and forgot. And I didn't feel like I was hoping I could get away with not admitting that here, but so I just rendered it out, and then I did. Yeah, I have it's cut in half, and it starts where basically at the beginning. It starts where this one begins and then gets halfway, and then this one starts with it already halfway and fading out to the end. And so they just hand it over to each other through some opacity keyframing.
That's lovely.
Lovely, lovely. So I am gonna now, let's see if I can make this happen. Normal.
Let's see.
This is gonna go so terribly. Custom layers, custom texture maps.
So I'm going to do several things here. So with this piece of footage of my hand, I'm going to run, I've got Primat Keyer on there to get the true, nice green that is spilling into these areas. And I'm also going to try what Julian suggested, which is running an extract to try to trim out this annoyingly bright rim behind me here. Now, I'm not sure because I filmed this with my phone with absolutely no kind of... Well, I just wanted to make sure the green screen looked green enough, but I didn't note at all what color my hand was, which is just this garbage color. So
you can just color grade that, right?
I can
You
color
don't need
grade it later, but it means that trying to extract out the lightest pixels. You see, if I had more color difference, I could get a better thing here. It starts to key out the white a little bit here, and I don't have too many more highlights, so I could constrain the extract to just that one little area. But you know what? I'm just gonna not for the moment.
You know, in movies where the character turns on a dark light and the killer has put written clues all over their room. That's essentially what I've just done.
Oh wow! Look at that. That's like a
texture?
prank that went horribly wrong.
Right?
So you want to highlight the model
setting?
itself in the scene thing there?
Yeah.
And now I think if you scroll down there should be an option for how the UV mapping down there.
Okay. Box.
How do you try box or repeat?
Okay.
Oh, look at that!
Box repeat. Box repeat. Should I preserve aspect? I mean, it looks like any of these are going to work.
That is wonderful.
Look at that! Okay.
Look at this. We're
now. I wonder if now I know there's a way in here to UV repeat. Oh, I can do it right here. So I set this to 2 and that to 2.
Wonderful. Again, becoming mesmerized by what you're doing, so I've stopped doing anything over on my.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Look at that. That might actually.
That looks
work.
Great, man.
Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to turn off.
Yeah,
There's some specular stuff that's happening.
Yes.
Oh, I could just.
You could also go to your render settings and just change it to like draft or something, which will be.
I did set it to show
Oh, there you go.
diffuse. So
Perfect.
and then if I screen blend mode, oh yeah, so I've got to figure out now the transition. This is nuts.
That's really cool. I mean, I don't even care what room it was supposed to be now. It just looks it just looks really neat.
So I need to. Okay, so I am gonna speed it up. Let's see.
I'm just adding some mask keyframes over here, so the moment of interactivity, basically, so I want to separate my foreground hand from my background hand. We're trying to do this mostly in real time. I filmed this just before the show. Seth filmed his AR plate literally during our pre-show, as
during our tech check, yeah.
It is wild. So so everything you see happening today happened in in real time. All right, let me address this keyer a little bit more here. We wanna. I love that with Primate I can just paint out the junk that I don't want. It's so handy. We should plug the Primate guys, whoever makes that.
Yeah. Red Giants. Red Giant. What is that actually? Red Robin? I think I've done that on the show before.
It is Red Robin.
It is Red Robin.
Excellent.
Okay.
Red Robin.
Oh no, isn't that Oh no.
Or are
'Cause
you
you're
doing
bum 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 bum?
I'm
State
not doing
Farm?
bump. That's State Farm.
Oh.
I'm thinking of something that goes da da da, and then it's
And
over.
it's
'cause
not
it's
the
always
Green
like
Giant, is it? The
No, that's like no, because this
Ho,
is
ho, ho.
it's a soothing sound because it means the commercial's over. Ba. Now I'm thinking it's something else. Break me off a piece of that football cream. Fancy
Yes.
feast.
This is so uncomfortable. All right,
It's football
I'm
cream.
going to pre-compose this thing as the reflection. All right, so I now have exactly what I was after from the get-go. My foreground hand and my reflection hand. And now we're going to cheat a shot out of this. I'm going to scale up my foreground arm a little bit. And I know there's some yucky bits. I could try to add a stupid matte choker. And yeah, that's fine. Oh, you know what? I thought that these effects went with you, foreground arm.
This would look really good with some ambient occlusion, wouldn't it? Oh, sorry.
No, it's all good. No, I
you're on yours. I'm so
pre-composed, but
sorry.
I didn't check the. That's embarrassing. Sorry, everyone. Foreground arm should have been its own thing with no effects on it, and the reflection. I'm going to do the same thing. I don't remember the keyboard shortcut to pre-compose. Control-Shift-C, but that might do something terrible. I don't know. Let's pre-compose with that, and this is the riffle. And now if I wanted to, I could matte choke that just a teeny bit. There we go. And there we go. Some geometric softness. And we'll do the same thing to the reflection. All right. So the goal of my shot is to have my hand in a mirror and coming out of the mirror. So I've got to, a little bit like our Loki episode where we had to guess and sort of create a plane, a pretend plane where things disappeared. I'm going to do that. Now, if this were, a more straightforward shot, or, more straight on from the side, I could just do this and just say, I'm pulling my hand right out of this mirror at this point. But I want it to have some perceivable depth or something like that to it, to align right here. So I'm going to try to figure out a way to, I could hand draw it, just something like a little hand animated subtract mask or something like that. And that might end up being the easiest and fastest solution. Just something like this, a little bit more round, and it has some of maybe the knuckle shapes and stuff like that. as if I'm disappearing into the wall.
Nice.
And then, let's see. And then the hand comes out and does that. All right. You could get as detailed as you wanted with this part of it all. I'm going to actually move that up even further. I want it to be like all the way back to here. I think that could be kind of cool. So the hand is like wrist deep in this mirror. And then I'm going to trim down my shot a little bit too. Let's trim it all down. Composition, trim comp to work area. So it just starts with the action. There we go. That's pretty cool. So let's set some keyframes for this mask. I want it to be roundish here. And then as the hand starts to come backward, I want it to move with that part of the hand, like it's coming out of the mirror, like it's sort of a rounded object like that. This is reminding me a bit, Seth, of that I can't imagine how difficult it was to roto Shot from Darker Colors, where the hand, like, it's like a hand reaching into water.
Oh yeah, not only was that so that was my a longtime listener of the show, frequent commenter Blake Rizzo.
Oh, Blake. Oh my gosh.
Who in that shot not only rotoed the hand, he also rotoed the hand's reflection in the water as well.
Good gravy.
Yeah, so big shout out to Blake. What is happening here with my...
What is happening, Seth?
My loop. The loop isn't working with...
Can you... What happens if you just pre-comp your texture layer there with the expression on it?
Good idea. Why don't I do that?
It's not updating. All right, so this is that's not fantastic, this little mask that I've drawn, but it's close enough. So I've obviously added a subtract mask to make it look like my hand is coming out of something and then moving out of screen like that. So now that I have that going on, I can do sort of the opposite with the reflected arm. So let's see here. I'll grab the reflection arm and I'm going to bring it over to here and I'm going to scale it up. I'm just going to straight preserve the scale and do that. And I'm going to try to find about where they would have aligned. I might need some keyframes here. So it's all the way down to the wrist. There's going to be some weird perspective-y things here, but I'm gonna roll with it. All right, so we've got the position is something like this, and then that, and then by here it's maybe more like this. This is good content, right?
Excellent content.
So
my loop out expression was not working. Was just not working. So I'm doing it the hard way. Manually duping.
Perfect.
Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Hey Seth, I think the chat wants you to save your work.
Oh, thank you, chat.
And also, on Michael's behalf, you could have duplicated that layer 20 times and then said sequence layers.
Oh God. Yeah. Shut
I
up. Yes,
I just want to make sure that we're not do as yeah, Seth is demonstrating, the time that you could invest in lining up layers, and there you go.
Why is that? What is that? This makes no sense. It's got this random, it's like sampling this layer. It's such a weird.
Oh well, it does look very matrixy. What if you jump into element or unassign that texture for a second in element? Like go to your custom texture layers, disconnect it, and then change it to be like layer 2, actually, just so it has to re-intake it and everything.
Okay.
Oh, not that. In there, instead of selecting it from here, it might have some stupid metadata that it's thinking is not like
so
for there
do
for
what?
go to custom layer 2 and assign that to be a
Oh,
thing
I
just
see,
so it
I
retakes
see.
it in, and then jump into the element interface.
Interface.
And now swap that out.
Custom layer 2.
And
Smart.
maybe that will fix your sampling issue. I don't know.
Oh, it did help, I think. Or maybe
The
not.
best part,
Ah! What is this? What is that first frame? Makes
well, is
no
the first frame
sense.
cached? Can you
This is why maybe I can just purge. This is also why we use Cinema 4D
yes.
instead.
See,
Put an element.
look at it. It all came, it all worked itself out. All right. So now I have, I'm making very slow progress on this, but the idea is I have this hand here somewhat disappearing into a reflection there. I don't remember if I moved over my, in my foreground arm comp, if I'd resized this, and I had.
Oh my god! I figured
What
out
is
what it
it?
is. This is this dumb thing is a frame rate of 60. I'd shot this play. I forgot I shot this with that app. So it's 60 frames per second here, but it's 23.97 frames per second here.
Wow.
So what if I did this? All right, I'm
No.
sorry. That was not worth stopping.
No, it's
you
all
from
good.
erasing
I'm
more.
not doing anything especially cool, except that I forgot when I did my whole pre-comp dance that I had resized this foreground arm in this comp, and then I went into the other comp and drew a custom mask with its keyframes, which means that if I scaled up this foreground arm, it'll no longer line up with my mask. So what I have to do is go to my foreground arm layer and then press the collapse transformations button, which will keep my mask here, but it's sourcing the original with my longer arm. So now that I have that, I can get those extra bits of footage that I was missing out on. And then I can attach these both to a null, so I can hold hands with myself in the creepiest way possible. There we go. Okay, we're starting to get somewhere. All right. Now, they have some really cool ripple effect going on in the trailer, and I'm going to try to create some ripples of my own. So I'm going to create a new composition. Let's make it a square one, just because I like working with square things when possible.
Hey, how do I sequence these again? You guys.
So you go
Michael-
right-click into, or you can go to Layer, I believe.
Okay, up to layer.
And then, oh wait, I feel like you just right-click on the layer somewhere, and you go to Assistant. I don't have it on my screen. It's so natural when I'm there.
Oh,
Keyframe assistant, sequence layers.
Sequence layers. There it is.
And there's probably a shortcut. If you know a shortcut, shout it out there. Oh, Stu has a question for Keanu.
Okay.
I think he blinked in response to the question if he's all right.
See, I really wonder if he's all right.
I don't know. Yeah. If you're
What
just
is
joining
happening?
us, we have Keanu Reeves from The Matrix 4 joining us live. But I am unused to the setup in Streamlabs, and so we cannot hear him. And I hope he can hear us. I'm unconvinced.
I'm going crazy.
All right. If you ignored, well, are you able to ignore this to check out? No. To just to check out your playback. Because that's a really exciting matrixy room. There's a bit of fun, like diffuse in the black
gamey.
that I feel like if you can figure out how to kill that, will
Oh, what do you mean?
there's just a bit of It's probably honestly from the light shading, the light-based shading.
Oh, I cranked up the ambient occlusion. That's why. So
no, but
I
no,
did it
but
just
you're
to give it
getting
some
some.
depth.
No, the depth is good, but you see the highlights.
Yeah,
So
what is
go
that?
down.
Why is
So
that
go.
happening? My specular's
Go to your
off.
texture. Inside of element.
Okay.
I think that this will be a better result. If you
Go into my texture.
go down to there and then highlight your code texture, and then go up to the top and click on the where you're sourcing layer, the custom layer there. Right click there and copy it and paste it in the illumination channel.
Oh, okay. Ooh, smart idea.
Hey guys, someone wants to know, can you accomplish all of this in Fusion in DaVinci Resolve, or is it harder there?
Ask someone else. No. Hashi,
Oh
you
no,
were
I was just going to say that I believe that when it comes to that, in terms of Red Giant stuff, these are plugins specifically designed to work with After Effects, but there are a lot of our Magic Bullet tools work outside of here. But the Trapcode suite is an After Effects baby. That's my best answer.
Oh, I turned down.
Please consult a professional.
I turned down glossiness, and that got rid of.
Go back.
Then,
go down to your your illumination, and turn that to 100.
Illumination, yeah. I had it, yeah. I had
or
it
whatever.
at 82, but
turn
it
to
turned
100 and use the diffuse color.
Smart.
And then back at the top, turn off your the diffuse entirely. Just uncheck it, and then change your texture color to black. It'll be a little bit lower. Yeah, there.
It's perfect. What? Hang on.
I don't know why it's still showing that stuff. The lighting influence is hurting it. But I think you could say okay, and then switch from render in your comp. Switch to illumination.
Yeah. Should I see it here or no?
You won't quite see it here.
Okay. No, but should I see? Okay, but I'm gonna go.
Oh, but
here
you're right.
Turn on.
Yeah.
See, you turned
now
off.
Go down to the bottom because you switched it to just showing diffuse, right? In your multi-channel mixer.
No, I didn't. It said it composite. No, I switched it back to composite.
Oh, for the sake of ambient occlusion, right? Fine.
Yeah.
Go just turn off the lighting influence then. That's what I should have said from the beginning. I'm very helpful.
Okay, I'm gonna turn my diffuse back on. You are incredibly helpful. I love you. I miss you.
Miss you, love you. All right, I'm adding a black solid to this 2K by 2K comp that I have here, and I'm going to draw a little shape in here. I'm going to draw this little lumpy peanut guy.
Little lumpy peanut guy.
All right, so I'm drawing this shape. It doesn't matter what the shape looks like. Something like this is just exciting. So let's put that right there in the center. And then I'm going to go and add the effect Generate Radio Waves. Now, Radio Waves is just such a delightful plugin.
Yeah. I didn't know it existed for the longest time and used particular to create my distortion maps and ripples when I easily could have just
so by default Radio Waves just produces over and over something that has little life cycle and dies out, and you can tell it instead of a polygon to use like a mask, for example. So I can have it be that mask shape that kind of blooms up, grows, and disappears like that. Very cool, like trippy. You can do some like 60s looking vibe thing here, or maybe that's 70s. I don't know what I'm thinking of. Like isn't there like a Mickey Mouse head that looks like this in something that we grew up with? If you're old like me, right? But yes. In either case, here I can go over and I can say I'll switch the color to white, and I'll make the start width be thicker like this, and the end width be even thicker than the start width, kind of like a ripple because it's moving outward. And then the fade out, let's see, what is its lifespan? Its lifespan is pretty long, so I'm going to change its lifespan to about 4 seconds. And then, for example, this is sort of what I'm getting now, is a like a White Stripes video effect here.
Oh, that's cool.
So now I have this kind of ripply shape that is that I'm going to use as a displacement map of sorts later. So let's maybe this is too thick at the beginning, so I'm going to thin these out because I want there to be some definition between the ripples at first. And all right, that seems better. You can change the expansion to kind of set how fast they're getting out there. And that is too slow. So I need the expansion to be faster, the lifespan to be a little bit less. I don't remember. Does it ripple like water, or is it more like I can't remember if in the trailer it ripples out like water, like active ripples, or if it's just a constant, constant ripple out from wherever they're intersecting.
Felt watery to me. Like it was like, that old movie where they used mercury instead and the actor had to wear gloves. It felt like that to me. Like it was.
It did feel like that. All right, so we'll do something like this. We'll change the fade out time, and so these drop off a little bit earlier, and then I'm going to take the whole thing and just fast blur it. RIP the OG fast blur. All right. So we'll do this. And so now what we have are these ripples kind of appearing like that, which is kind of cool. But now I'm also going to add I probably should have done this from the beginning. I'm going to add a new solid. I'm going to make it 50% gray. Just, right, where is that? 50%. And I could put this under or over. I'll just change its blending mode to screen. Actually, I'll put it under. There we go. I'm putting it under so I can now have these expanding waves like that, the white is a value, the gray is effectively 0. And then, check this out, I'm going to add a radial shadow. And I'm going to put the producer point right in the middle here. So can anyone guess why we're doing that? It's obviously to make it so you have these little valleys, which is cool. So I'm going to adjust my radial shadow so there. So now it gets darker than the neutral gray here in the middle. And I still have no idea how well this will line up or if this is too fast or whatever. So let's just save this. Let's go over to my actual comp. And then I will add in the... Let's see, what did I call that? I didn't call it anything. Let's call it ripples. How are we doing on time? We have about 20 more minutes if you're staying with us for 2 hours.
Real quick, do you happen to remember how the code grew on the wall? Like, I can't find the scene in the movie online to look for reference. I'm trying to remember how it...
like it was just there when he opened his eyes again.
Okay.
It could have
along the surfaces.
grown from the top downward, maybe, but I'm not sure. If you have I would bet that if you have this long texture file and you cut out, at the beginning of your loop, show them generating for the first time before they loop, you could get that result. But also, I want you to go to the lighting influence under environment and turn it down.
Oh, I thought I did that. Oh no, you're right. I didn't. I turned off use comp lights.
There we go.
But I like how you said. Also, I want you to do this. Like you're being patient with me.
Also, if you would. So I'm bringing in my this ripple card. I'm going to make it 3D, and then I'm going to rotate it to the kind of angle of the mirror here. And let's make it semi-transparent for just a moment so we can kind of get the idea of what's going on here. So I want to put this ripple. Oh man, I really guessed wrong that it was taller than it is wide. But putting this in 3D will create this kind of area here that, look at that. Like as my hand comes out, these ripples are getting generated.
Dude, that's pretty great.
Fun. So we've got those little ripples going on within this comp. So I think what I need is, oh, you see, I was thinking of my hand at this shape would have had that cool, this arrangement. So let's do this. We don't have a lot of screen real estate here, but I'm going to try this anyway. I'm going to try to go up to my viewer here, and this is a great tip if you're ever working with a pre-comp. You can say view, new viewer, and now I can have two comps open. I think we've done this on the show before, but you'll notice that this one has a little lock symbol on it, which means it's going to stay there no matter what. And I can then just down here, like I usually do, click over to the ripple effect here. And if I change the shape of this mask, oh, that's a really bad color for me to see. Let's change it to yellow mask here. As I adjust this mask shape here, I can tailor it to what is happening here for the interaction, which is cool. So first of all, in the comp, I want to make sure the center, oh gosh, it's hard to grab the x-axis there. I want the center of my reflections to be in the center of this, like that. And then over here in the ripples, I just want the general ripples that are being produced to be similar to where the hand is interacting at that point, you know?
General Ripples is the villain in the new Matrix film.
General Ripples, I presume.
So that is a Star Wars name.
Oh my god. Okay, let's see. Let's rewind to here, and here we need a more squashed. Oh, you know what's going to happen though? I think they're going to all morph their shape over their life as the mask changes. Wait, did it? I can't tell. It probably doesn't matter, actually. So let's go back to our comp here, and everyone sees roughly what we're trying for. We've got these ripples that appear somewhat at a perspective of me pulling my hand out of that. And right around there, once my hand is all the way out, I can go to the ripple comp and say, right at that point, I want you to stop producing so many radio waves. Stop it.
Do it. Stop it.
Stop it. Frequency, you go from 1.0 to 0 in no time. Look at that. And so now I think whatever that last ripple is will be the last ripple. Okay. Lovely. How much time we got? We got 20-ish minutes. I'm going to close the new viewer that I created.
We've never had this much time. Like, this is incredible. Usually I'm running out of time. Right now I'm still trying to get a shot to look, usable. But
hey, I love it. Mine is missing color correction, environment, anything that would make this feel like a worthwhile shot.
It's still looking promising and cool.
But I think that it's going to work. So my plan, and I'll say it out loud before I fail at it, is to add in a virtual environment with a reflection, like a virtual mirror frame, a virtual smudge pane of glass, and then I'm going to pre-comp this 3D ripple piece, and I'm going to use chromatic displacement, a really cool plugin that just does awesome distortions. So I am going to try that by, let's see, let's find an exciting room, shall we? We'll use that alien guy here. All right, I just need a dilapidated room, basically, right? So let's go to PX here, our delightfully, what is the word I'm looking for? They are royalty-free image reserve. All right. So let's look for a dark room. I feel like this. I constantly look for dark rooms in my. You know what? In this room, I found this image, and this image looks. I mean, not the candles really, but I just like this area up here. You know, kind of works. And you see this door right here. I don't know if it's a reflection or two doors. It's probably two doors because of the light. You can tell by the light. But I'm gonna fake that into a mirror, and I swear it's gonna work, everyone. So. You've heard it here. I promise this will work. And Seth, how are you doing with your texture looks?
Pretty cool. I'm experimenting with something real quick to see if I like it, if it'll work. Okay, that's interesting.
All right. I am importing my room. I'm going to put it in the background here just for a moment. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the anchor point of the image by pressing Y and then sliding it over here. The room is oh man, they're misaligned. Oh, whatever. Find better plates, people. But what I was imagining is that this spot right here would look a little bit like a room getting reflected at about this perspective. So I'm going to put my anchor point right there in the center, so I can now scale this to be backwards and scale it up kind of always about the center there. And it doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter that my hand looks terrible. It's terribly color balanced. I'm not a color balance kind of guy anyway, and neither was though speaking of colors, I did love that there's so much color in this new Matrix. What an exciting way to update the look.
Absolutely. Great point. Me too. It's not just the old green. Mm-hmm. The old green. The big green, as they say on the Disney Plus.
Yes. I wonder if you applied a spill killer to the original movie, the entire thing, what your result might be.
Black and white is what
that's true.
Sorry, I missed I realized I was doing something dumb.
It's all right.
I missed your very funny VFX joke.
Yeah. Keanu, you doing okay?
Also, I'm sorry I was doing something dumb and missed your very funny VFX joke is very much like is the theme of our show.
Yeah, it's the theme of our texts to each other right after the show.
That's true. 100%.
All right. Gosh, these arms look so bad. The color is so terrible on them. What should we do? Let's go to. I don't know if I want to reach for. I can't do this manually, so I've got to. I'm going to use some looks on them. And let me see if you'll be able to see my looks interface, everybody. Like, honestly, I should just be tinting these sepia. They would look like more realistic hands than what I've got going on here. Oh, it ended up over there.
Someone said, can you guys do like a subsurface effect, like effects on or under the skin?
Ooh, we could.
If we had another 4 hours, yeah.
Absolutely. So we will take note of that for the future. Ask the user if there is any specific version of that effect from a movie that they are inspired by, so we could you see, I'll just be honest, so we could rip off their version of subsurface scattering. Yeah, one of the things that I mean to acknowledge more often than I do is the reason why we are able to jump through and try to quickly rush together versions of these effects are because production designers and humongous teams of people work really hard on developing the look of every single thing within a movie before it ends up in an early teaser trailer. So it's important to remember how hard they are working to make every single image come together. and they do all the grunt work of the creativity that has to go into it and figuring out, does it look good like this? What's the shape of that? I feel like we touched on that with Darby a little bit about how many iterations you might go through before landing on a final look. And it's easy to mimic the final look once you've got it, but or comparatively easy. But yeah, we're not creating the look of the effect from scratch. That is a much more difficult artistic challenge. So just
that user chimed back in and said, from the trailer, we can see the woman gets the Matrix numbers on her face. That's what they were referring to.
I missed that. Let's see, I'll have to...
Matrix numbers on her face.
What am I doing? I'm trying to see if I have... I feel like I should definitely have some smudgy glass textures, and I don't know why I'm not immediately finding any of them. Why don't I have smudges?
Why don't I have smudges?
Windshields. Nope, not a windshield. I want grungy, watery. What did you use last week, Seth, for your glass smudges?
Textures that Michael got me.
Of course, you thought to ask Michael ahead of time. Do you have those?
Yeah.
Are they on our share? Can you
do.
throw them in the thing? I'm going to derail you for a second.
Oh, they might already be there, actually.
I didn't check. I just was...
No. You didn't know. The journey is happening as right now.
All right, we're getting to our last 12-ish minutes. So I appreciate every distraction at the moment. Let's see, that was last week, right?
Yeah, they are not in there. So hold on, I'll find them.
All right, dump them in one of those and let me know. What I'm going to do is let's go ahead and camera blur out this background room. First I'm going to pre-compose it and move all of the attributes into a new composition. That way I just have just this real estate to work with. And then we'll add a camera lens blur to it, like this. We'll repeat the edge pixels. There we go. So it's like it's just looking at this little bit right here. And then one of the things I'm eventually going to do is I'm going to take this ripple and let me turn it up like that. I'm going to pre-compose this because I actually want it to be a... I want this angle preserved, actually. So I'll call it a ripple comp 1 like that. And if I dive into it, I can add maybe a new solid that's also 50% gray and just fill out this little black area on the side. And that's more efficient than trying to scale up this square at this angle to fill out the frame. Anytime you can save on a little bit of computation, might as well. So now this is, if everyone understands, my ripple comp that has the ripple basically at the proper angle for what my hand is doing right here. See?
Textures are in the elements folder for this week.
Love it. Thank you, Setherson.
Welcome.
Setherson Starship. Elements, smudges, and soap. I love it. Okay. Let's bring these into the project. What? Did I just hear a dog? Or a... Am I crazy?
I thought I heard something.
Okay, so we've got a couple of smudges.
No dogs here.
No dogs
here. Let's go. I like this first smudges one. All right, let's go into the comp. I'm going to do a similar thing here. So I want this mirror to similarly be... let's just do this with some... I don't know. Let's power pin this thing. So we'll pretend that the edge of the mirror is what, right here? Or something like that. And then the perspective-wise, it's kind of going like this or something. That looks sort of like the surface of a mirror, right? Let's pre-compose this thing. Actually, I don't think I need to. I'll leave it like that. Okay, so now we've got all these layers. We've got our empty room. We've got the reflection of my arm here. We've got the smudges right here. And we've got this ripple comp thing. And then on top of all of that, foreground hand. So all of this looks very not good right now, but I'm hoping that I am able to grab all of these layers here and then tell them all to go to SUPERCOMP. Yes.
Hell.
To Red Giant SUPERCOMP. And here in Red Giant SUPERCOMP, what we're going to do is it's going to look a little bit silly at first because you can see everything going on. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's go back to... Oh, I know what I've done something strange. I need to quickly... when I messed up my arm earlier, I messed up it for everybody. So I'm going to quickly... let me pre-compose just that one foreground arm layer and say move everything away from here and say okay. There we go. This is what I expected to see. So we've got our the foreground arm. We've got the smudges, which I'm also going to pre-comp. Why not? Looked like the perspective wasn't getting preserved correctly. So let's move all of its stuff away. All right. So if we just had our background on and our foreground arm and our reflected arm, let me show you what this would look like. So it's just basically back to the beginning. Oh, and in fact, I would like to also see the smudges in there. I'll turn on the smudges and turn their mode to the additive blending mode. And here you can see, oh, it's a little bit tight on screen space to be in half, showing how this is working, but you get the idea. We've got the smudges, so it looks like there might be a pane here and my hand there. And looking at this arm, I do feel like I want to fix that thumb should be all the way revealed by now. So let's fix that key and maybe preemptively fix this key. That might look a little more convincing. Yeah, there we go. All right, so back in here, let's now turn on our ripple comp, but that looks very silly like that. But I think that if I switch its layer type to a displacement layer, watch this. Let me find its settings. Again, I wish these were a little bit larger so I could really show them off. So I'm going to turn off my spread chroma pretty much all the way down for the moment. And now, just for fun, let's turn up the amount of the displacement. And look at that.
Dude.
There we go. See this? Now we're talking.
Oh, man.
I can soften this out.
It's working!
Oh, yes. This is what this moment, it's so fun to get to.
We need that drop of of Elliot yelling "It's working" in the woods while ET's machine is working, for moments like this.
All right, so there we go. And now, in fact, down here, I would probably add some on the color here. This is so, I hate the color here. Let me turn the exposure down a bit. So
yeah, I love your green
it's
skin.
so nice, right? I really want this to be... I want it to be like just a bit of detail so you believe that there's probably a room reflecting there, but I don't like the way it's looking. So yeah, here's where I'm going to get into my don't know how to color correct stuff thing. So I'm just going to try to tell. Oh my gosh, what did I do? All right. So starting here, let's tailor the mask on my reflected hand a little bit here. Where are its masks? Are they showing or are they not? Oh, maybe I don't even have any on there. All right, let's add a subtract mask for our reflected hand. Mask, subtract. Oh my goodness, we got 5 minutes. I know that the colors are garbage, but the knowledge is priceless, I swear. All right, so we've got, let's add some mask keyframes for this reflected hand. Look at that displacement, everyone. I think it forgives it makes me forgive myself for anything that was looking yucky earlier, and you do kind of get a sense of all this. Look at that. It's so fun. All right, let's Seth, what color is my room? It's brown, right? And I'm kind of green, a little green for a human, right?
Yeah, naturally.
Let's see. So let's God, what should I do to offset this? We have so many wonderful color correction tools, and I am so embarrassed to try using them live. So let's see. Let's try.
What are you trying to do? You're just trying to offset the green of your hand? Okay,
well,
Colorista.
Yeah, so let's Magic Bullet Colorista this thing. I wanted to have the background come up to me where my hands are, actually. So...
Oh, the background comes to where your hands are? Okay, well, you don't need to mess with that. Just go up to the tint and the temperature and tint, and crank that tint toward green.
Let's see.
Which would be left, I believe.
All right. It's so dark here. I'm trying to get some information on screen. So
yeah. Tint left, and then maybe you can do temperature left a bit too if you wanted to. That'll take you into blue.
See, these are mystery items to me. I have no idea.
I'm very curious what those wheels look like to you.
Let's see, and they're just
your colorblindness.
They're just a mush of stuff. They're so ugly.
Really.
What if I added? This is going to be very silly to do, but what if I, on top of this all, added some looks and vignette to this? Don't we have a Matrix-inspired look? Which one is it called?
We do. It's called Neo, I believe. It would be in Blockbuster Cool.
Nice. Or I could also use the...
Or you can just search Neo, yeah.
Nice. So I'll apply this to the whole thing, and then I'll also darken my arms a little bit. I can do that right in SuperComp, or I could do it right anywhere else. But let's try turning down the exposure a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. And I think if I turn down the exposure of my reflection, it'll actually feel more like a real reflection, which are always seem a little bit darker, and they always technically tint a little bit green, which no problem here. I'm getting plenty of green in here probably, but I believe that if you did Vsauce tell us that if we reflect a mirror forever, you end up with green?
Oh, I didn't know that. So
there are two ways that I could slowly turn down this displacement that's happening here. One would be in the displacement map itself. I could be fading that out, or in SuperComp, I could go to my amount here, and I'll add a keyframe, because I like that they're big old ripples like that here. And in fact, I wish they were a little bit wider, so I can fix that later, but I'll make the amount high here. Oh man, we've got like a minute left. How are you doing, Seth?
Good. I'm just seeing if I can do one little thing to fix my texture problem. Other than that, man.
So cool. All right, and also, what do I want? The ripples here, I want to blur them out a little bit more. If I just jump into here and turn up my fast blur, then if I come back to this comp, I should have a little bit more... a little bit more softened shadows, and reflection bumps. And in fact, I can probably turn down how much I was trying to soften them here in SuperComp and get something that looks a little bit more like what I want. Oh, we're so close, everybody. Okay, there's the ripple. Where are its effects? A little bit less. Maybe around there. All right, Seth, how are you feeling? Are you able to RAM preview where we ended up?
Yeah. It looks the stupid textures are doing the dumb things, but
aren't they always? Actually, it's a classic.
Let me just undo a series of things real quick.
I'm going to add a super strong CC vignette.
So this is what I the texture refresh is sampling is weird, but got that there going. It's pretty cool. It's just fun to look at.
It's super cool. Can you transition from the
build on like that
room into? Wait, you are transitioning from the room into it. I watched the.
Yeah, I am. Sorry, I don't know how delayed it is on. So here we go. It'll do it. And
man, if you had that sound drop, that Matrix thing, you've got that.
Yeah, like someone jangling their keys in hell.
So my last step, like honestly, like look at this craziness, because we have. Let me just turn off what I have. I have this these garbage pieces, and then I was able to SUPERCOMP them together and get this really cool looking result. And then if I turn on some like magic bullet looks and vignette this thing out a little bit. Let me see. Oops, they weren't turning on. Look at that.
Now it's really cool. It's a little like 2012 magic bullet looks, but it's still very cool.
Okay, so what this little blurred vignette is a universe spot blur. You check the invert, and then you can use it basically as a blur vignette around what you're using. And that because this is iPhone footage with like no depth of field at all. Now, like things that I would improve are probably like some shadowing on the hand there and stuff to make it look a little bit better. But let me try to just preview this. Preview this. Thank you for sticking around. I know we're a little bit past it. It's classic for me to take too long to do these things.
You kidding me? Normally it's me doing like one effect and you doing 25. So this is refreshing, personally, selfishly.
So I'll just loop this little bit.
Hey, look at that! That's so freaking
man,
great.
It's funny how much comes together in like the last second. What do you think, Keanu? Is this up to Warner Brothers standards? He's.
I think we need to call somebody. I think of the hospital.
I mean, he's a very chill guy, but I do feel a little bit
twitching.
bad that we did this to him. I will have we'll have our people reach out, send him a gift basket. Anyway, it was wonderful that he was here.
Yeah, of medicine.
Yes.
And okay.
Our most glitch-free episode, everybody.
Most glitch-free, least glitch much.
But yeah, you made a cool Matrix room, and I made a mirror shot. So please enjoy that, and tune in every Friday.
Please.
At 10 Pacific to watch us VFX and chill.